Now this is the film I wish Jessica Chastain put out for her Oscar nomination instead of Miss Salone. The Zookeeper's Wife, directed by Nikki Caro, starring Jessica Chastain, Daniel Bruhl, and Johan Heldenberg. This movie is based on a true story of Antonia Zabinski and her husband Juan Zabinski, who had a zoo in the years 1939 till now. I hear that the Warsaw Zoo is still open today. And this story takes place during World War II when the Nazis invade Poland. And what happens in this movie is when the Nazis invade Poland, the bombs and the Nazis hurt the zoo, and a lot of the animals get out, and the Nazis end up occupying Poland and force a lot of the Jews in Poland into the real poor areas, the ghetto areas. Antonia and Juan want to leave Poland because of the Nazis, even though all their animals are still there, and a lot of the animals are getting killed by the Nazis. So they feel the best thing to do is to just try to save themselves. But Antonia doesn't want to leave because she still loves her animals, and there's still a lot of the animals left behind. And she decides to stay, as well as her husband and their son. And they see that the Jews are in need of help. So Juan decides to hide some of the Jews in the zoo, in some of the empty cages that are left behind in the basement area. And Antonia agrees to this, but the main problem is the Nazis have taken over the zoo area. And when the Nazis take over Antonia's zoo, they decide to breed bison there because they want to create a perfect race of bison, quote unquote perfect race. They are keeping a strict eye on the Zabinskis. So the Zabinskis are doing their best to keep the fact that they are hiding Jews in the zoo from the Nazis, but at the same time they're trying to keep the Nazis happy. So they decide to have pigs be allowed to breed in their zoo. And they take scraps from the ghetto area where the Jews are and put the scraps in their trucks for the pigs. And when they go to the ghetto area to get the scraps, they allow some of the Jews to hide in their truck and pour the scraps onto the Jews in order to hide them well enough so when the Nazis check their truck, they only see the scraps, they don't see the Jews in there. And then they bring the Jews into the zoo to hide them from the Nazis. And that's pretty much the movie. Also, the main Nazi of the movie, the main antagonist, Daniel Bruhl's character, Lutz Heck, who is Hitler's zoologist, is keeping a close eye on the Zabinskis, and he is very much attracted to Antonia. So he's flirting with her a lot, and because she's afraid of the Nazis and afraid of Lutz, she goes along with it. And that makes her husband jealous, but she really doesn't have any feelings for this evil man. Now, I really wanted to see this movie because the trailers looked really good, and I really like Jessica Chastain and Daniel Bruhl, and the whole story seemed very fascinating to me. And I have to say, this is a really, really good movie. Jessica Chastain is excellent in this film as this character. You really feel that she loves her husband and she loves her son. You feel the chemistry between her and her husband, and you really see why she loves animals. And there's a scene where she explains why she loves animals more than people. She says that she doesn't know whether or not to trust people a lot, and with animals she knows what's in their heart just by looking in their eyes a lot of times. And That's very true when you look at animals a lot. They tend to feel love more than humans do at times. And that was just done so well. And the actor that plays her husband, Johann Heldenberg, he was really good in the movie too. I really did like him. And Daniel Bruhl, he can play a Nazi in his sleep. He does the role so darn well. It comes naturally to him, and he was just great in the movie as this villain that you just really hate in this film. And the two actors that they got to play her son were both good. They got two actors, one that plays the son at a very young age and one plays him at a little bit older, I think like 12. And both of them did a very good job. And then there are the actors that played the Jews, and they were all great. Especially the one Jew that they focus on the most, which is this girl named Ursula, and you can tell that she was badly abused by the Nazis just by how afraid that she looks towards everybody, and she does this role so darn well too. The actress's name is Shira Haas, and she was just really good in this movie. So overall, I really did like this movie. The only negative I have with this movie is rewatchability, because the movie can get you very emotional because you get a lot of anger from seeing how mean the Nazis are and how bad they treat the animals as well as how bad they treat the people in Poland. So I don't know how often I could rewatch this movie, but I really did like this. I definitely think people should check this movie out, so I'm going to give this movie an A-. It's really worth it. So definitely check out The Zookeeper's Wife.